The definition of grammar is the study of the way words are used to make sentences. An example of grammar is how commas and semicolons are supposed to be used. That's the reason why today we are going to study our lesson number 4, the name types of nouns. So we are going to study 4 different nouns. Number 1, proper nouns. Number 2, common nouns. Then compound nouns, and finally collective nouns. But first, what are nouns? Nouns are words that name people, places, things, and animals. Some nouns name a special person, place, thing, or animal. These nouns are called proper nouns, and they always begin with a capital letter. The names of the boys and girls are proper nouns and should be capitalized. Also, last names are proper nouns and should be capitalized. So please let's look at some examples. Boys' names: Manuel, Axel, George, and Nelson. Girls' names: Olivia, Amelia, Isabel, and Ava. And finally, last names: Perez, Rodriguez, Smith, and Brown. All of them start with a capital letter. The names of the days and months are proper nouns and should be always capitalized. What about holidays? Are they proper nouns? The answer is yes. So please let's look at some examples. Father's Days, St. Patrick's Days, Happy Easterns, Christmas Days. The names of the countries, cities, and states are proper nouns and should be capitalized. If you look at the table, you will see that all the examples start with a capital letter. What about common nouns? We understand that common nouns names person, place, or things, or even an idea. Common nouns are not capitalized unless they come at the beginning of a sentence. Here we have 3 examples: girl, beach, and pencil. Here you have also some examples about common nouns: house, dog, mother, couch, love, and car. As you can see, all of them start with a lowercase letter. Now, proper nouns name specific people, places, or things. Proper nouns require capital letters, while common nouns are general. Proper nouns are specific and name one particular person, place, or thing. So please do not forget about those simple rules. Now let's study about compound nouns. What are compound nouns? It says that they are nouns that are made with 2 or more words. A compound noun is usually a noun plus a noun, or an adjective plus a noun. But there are other combinations that we are going to study later. It is important to understand and recognize compound nouns. Each compound noun acts as a single unit and can be modified by adjectives and other nouns. There are 3 forms for compound nouns. Number 1, open or spaced. It means a space between words. Example, tennis shoe. Hyphenated. It means a hyphen between the words. Example, six-pack. And finally, closed or solid. No space or hyphen between words. The example, bedroom. There is no rule for this, so you may need to check in a dictionary. The main stress is usually on the first part. As an example, parking meter, but sometimes it is on both parts, so please take into account this rule. Plural forms of compound nouns. In general, we make the plural of a compound noun by adding the letter S to the base word, which is the most significant word. Please look at these examples. Singular, a tennis shoe. In plural, 3 tennis shoes. 1 assistant headmaster. In plural, 5 assistant headmasters. The sergeant major. In plural, some sergeants major. And finally, a mother-in-law. In plural, 2 mothers-in-law. You have noticed that the compound noun can be written either as a single word, as a word with a hyphen, or as 2 words. There are no clear rules about this. So please, let's look at these following examples. So, we have noun plus preposition, a noun plus a verb plus a preposition, an adjective plus a verb, a noun plus noun, an adjective plus a noun, a preposition plus a noun, and finally a verb with a noun. All of them are combinations in order to create compound nouns. Now let's study about collective nouns. What is a collective noun? You might not know it, but you encounter collective nouns in everyday speech. Collective nouns are words for single things that are made up of more than one person, animal, place, thing, or idea. You can't have a team without individual members. Even so, we discuss a team as a single entity. Collective noun examples. Remember that nouns are words naming people, animals, places, and things. Collective nouns are in a class all their own. Once you have read these examples, you would find it much easier to recognize collective nouns when you see them. Now let's look at this example. Our class took a field trip to the Natural History Museum. He waited anxiously for the jury to come to a verdict. This year's basketball team includes 3 players who are over 6 feet tall. And finally, Napoleon's army was finally defeated at Waterloo. What happens if you can't decide whether a collective noun is singular or plural? You can use different words to compose your sentence to be sure there is no agreement error. For example, you can insert the word members after a collective noun or use a different word such as players instead of team, or zebras instead of herd, or students instead of class. Don't forget, nouns are among the most important words in the English language. Without them, we will have a difficult time speaking and writing about anything. This lesson has as a purpose to identify some noun types in a basic overview. But please don't forget, every type of noun comes with its own rules, so be sure to use the correct type of nouns when studying. Well, this has been everything for today. Hope you now have a better idea about the different types of nouns and their correct uses in English. For the next week, we will continue with the study of nouns in part 2. So guys, for all your attention, thank you very much.